So I guess like background context, I'm a long distance runner. I've been running since I started running track and field as a freshman in high school. And then I had played soccer for years before that, but I was a midfielder. So all I really did was run. My dad was always my biggest supporter in support. He's the one that took me to every single practice and always was encouraging me to kind of improve upon myself and to set big goals in terms of performance. But after a whole bunch of years of soccer and going to high school, I was starting to feel a little burnt out. Tried track and field in the spring that year. Fall's typically when the soccer season is, and I completely fell in love with running. And I realized that I wanted to switch to cross country the following fall season instead of soccer. And, despite all of those years of my dad supporting me with like travel soccer, I thought he would be really kind of apprehensive at me switching over to running, but he saw how much I just was in love with the sport. And, he pivoted, turned right around, and dove right into being my biggest supporter for track and then cross country. He's always like the first person I'd want to call whenever I do races now beyond high school. I decided I wanted to go to Washington College because of the environmental program for the center that I ended up working for afterwards. But we didn't at the time have a track and field and cross country team. So I was going for my education, but I decided, I love to run. And I had started to get that itch to kind of run farther beyond like the 5K distance of cross country. When we found out about the diagnosis and then found out even more so that like this wasn't going to be something that's like an easy fix, it was going to be a long, hard road, and the end destination would not be, being able to go back to normal life. We decided as a family like we wanted to just continue living life to the fullest. He was going to, do whatever treatments we had access to in order to, hopefully give us as much time as we can in a way that he still was comfortable with. But I just was really kind of thinking on my own. This was, all within like the whirlwind week of like finding all of this out, that I wanted to do something that would both like give him a thank you for everything that he's done for me and all the support he's given to me over these years. I wanted it to do it more so in celebration of everything that he's done for me. And something that we used to do growing up is, we would watch also on TV all sorts of sports. And when I started getting hooked on running, I started, following the US Olympic track and field trials and all of the world major marathon majors, which are like the big deal in terms of long distance marathon running. And Boston is the oldest world marathon major. It's arguably one of like the biggest, most famous. Um, and we would always talk like, yeah, like one day I'm going to run Boston. I'm going to, qualify for Boston. I'm going to cross that finish line. Like that was always my end goal. It was something though that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. After I get settled, I have all this time to train. I can really put time into it. And, now this popped up and I was like, if he's gonna see me cross that finish line, it's gonna be now. So I reached out to the Boston Marathon organization. You can either run Boston as a time qualifier, and it's still super hard to get into. You can also run it as a charity runner. So I reached out and, I explained my situation, and I was like, I would really love the opportunity to do this. I don't have enough time to get the time qualifier because we don't have enough time. So like, is there any way that I would be able to partner with a charity and become a charity runner? And the lady who runs this organization called me. She was so moved by the story, which was like so cool. I'm glad I answered it. It was like a Massachusetts random number on my phone. I could have thought it was spam, but I answered it. And over the year of like doing the application process and everything, I was able to partner with the Cam Neely Foundation. It's a New England-based charity that raises funds for can patients of cancer treatments and their families, and decided that that would be like an amazing charity that I could partner with. In agreement to run the marathon, I would be responsible for raising $12,000 to go towards that charity. And that's basically my goal now. So I made sure my dad was okay with going through with all this because, his story would have to be put out there. In the very beginning of his diagnosis, he was more hesitant to tell people about it. But when I came to him and said, hey, like, I have the opportunity, I could run the Boston Marathon if you're willing for me to share our family story, he was so excited. So now we're raising a whole bunch of money. And it's been really cool because when his treatments and things get, you know, kind of rough,
Yeah.
this is something that at least until April 21st, he has something to look forward to.
Yeah.